Hello and welcome to Political Arena. My name is Mana Balagbogbo, and as you know, the Political Arena is a program that discusses anything and everything that has to do with politics. Today on the program, we're at the office of the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, Dr. Hale Gabriel Longpet. Good day, sir, and thanks for being with us on the program.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome.
Thank you.
For being on the program.
Pleasure is also mine. We're here to discuss preparations, gearing and leading up to the general elections just in a few days. Once again, thank you, sir, for being with us on the program. Your principal lately is pretty confident about the elections, being free and fair. This is something that he's been reiterating the past few weeks. Are you optimistic about this and confident about this, spreading down and being the case and the situation in Kogi State?
Yeah, my principal, that's the chairman of the commission, has reiterated that every avenue that he's been able to appear on in every context to reassure Nigerians that the elections will be free, fair, credible, and verifiable. This is based on the preparations, the timeline, and the framework of the preparations that we are supposed to have done. Inec, right from the beginning of February last year, when it announced the dates of election, had 14 activities to undertake. And up to last week, when the chairman made his final reassurance during the course of addressing the meeting of the resident electoral commissioners, said that we've completed 11 of those 14 activities. What were left was one, the announcement of the date of polling, which was done January 30th for the February 25th elections, that is the Presidential and National Assembly elections. And the other timeline that is left to be done is the final date for campaigning and rallies. And then the final one, the third one, would be the election day proper. So you can see that we've gone through all these other activities, from announcing the dates from party primaries to giving the final list of candidates for each party for all the elections, to announcing the dates of the campaign, when people would start campaign, displaying of the supplementary voter register, which we did, and gave people opportunities to go and check their names, and if their names weren't there, they would then raise their complaints and claims, which we've all done. It also coincided with dates where we were to sensitize the public about the collection of permanent voters' cards.
Yeah.
And that we did, and it was supposed to terminate on the 29th, but subsequently, as a result of the meetings held previously, there was an extension of 1 week, because survey had shown that over the whole country, not every state had been able to provide for the needs of the people in terms of collection of data. And we recognize that there were groups of persons in some localities who would not have been able to come to the local government INEC offices to collect. And so the decision was taken to take it closer to the people at the RA or ward level, where some people, like especially people living with disability, the elderly, nursing mother, expectant mothers, would come and collect their PVCs at the ward level. That we did up to the 22nd of January. At the meeting, nearing the end of the exercise, which was supposed to terminate 30th, The commission met with all resident electoral commissioners all over the country on the 28th, and we all gave reports of the level of collection in every state, and that was what informed the commission to extend, to give a second extension for another 1 week, which will expire on Sunday, the 5th of February. At every opportunity, I think we will always reassure people that it is one thing for Inec to do all these activities, but it takes the combination and support of other stakeholders as well, political parties, NGOs, the press, all other interested like church leaders, faith groups who would educate their people with respect to the process, the expectations, and so on and so forth. We are also embarking on meeting with the stakeholders and sensitization through announcement in local radios and through other media like the press and both electronic and print, where we are able to do that.
All right, now still on preparations, a lot of people have hailed, INEC's decision to extend PVC collection, but some are critical and are like, why can't it last till maybe a day to the election, or even up till that day, people should still be able to collect their PVCs? How do you react to that?
The reason for that is that at what point do you stop, and at what point then do you know the number of people that have collected from what unit, to be able to download the number of people that have collected for each unit, to download that onto the beavers. You see, because we need to stop at some point, and then take the statistics of how many people have collected their PVCs in polling unit A, polling unit B, polling unit C. If you say people should continue to collect until the eve of election, then you will not be able to download this information into the memory of the beavers. Remember, in Kogi, we have 3,508 polling units. And if you leave it until that day or the day before that, when do you do that? Configure those beavers according to the unit, because each beaver is going to contain the list of people who that are registered in that unit and the number of people that collected their PVCs in that particular polling unit. All right. That's the reason why we're giving timeline for people to do that.
Now, in terms of voter collection, PVC rather, collection in Kogi State, I've seen reports where you mentioned low coming out to collect PVCs. What do you think is responsible for that?
That was before.
Okay, so what's the latest figure?
Okay, that was before we started the activity. We gave a timeline for collection of PVC. When I expressed dismay about the low turnout, the low collection of PVC. But since we started this thing in December, we've had tremendous turnout of people. I'll just give you, like, for instance, we had on the first day when we started on the 6th of January, we had 10,450 collection of new PVCs. And then collection of old PVCs, we have 1,303. Then, but the highest we've ever had in a day was on the 12th of January, where we had 24,295 new PVCs collected and 6,069 old PVCs, or those who transferred and their PVCs. So as at today, I can tell you that we have had tremendous improvement in the number of, because previous when I was saying the old PVCs, that is 2019 PVCs that were there, we had 154,000 that we had uncollected before the program. And at that time, we said only 5,000 people had come to collect. But as of today, 30,000 people have collected from the old 2011 to 2019
PVCs.
For the new ones, the registration in 2021, 2022, by 31st of July, when we had 277,000 PVC that were to be collected. Today, we have collection that stands at 228,800 people that have collected. So what remains now is about only 48,000 of the PVCs that have not been collected.
Yet to be collected.
And people need to go and collect them before Sunday.
Okay.
Of those that were transferred, okay, we expected 71,000. We had 71,000 transferred PVCs, and as at the last time, now we have 54,000 people have gone to collect their transferred PVCs. Those that have been delivered to us, printed and delivered to us. So only about 17,000 of the transferred PVCs have not been collected.
Okay.
So it's a marked improvement on the previous era when I was crying and saying, no, not everybody has gone to, people are showing no enthusiasm to collect. But if you give a total figure of those PVCs that are left uncollected in Kogi today, it's about 142,000. But the old ones, the new one, and transferred.
Okay.
That people need to go and collect.
All right. Now, would you say that you have all the necessary equipment and materials on ground as at now?
Yeah, we have, to a large extent, received all materials, the non-essential, non-sensitive materials.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you that we had 95% of those materials.
Okay.
And we've been assured that from the meeting we had last week, that by Friday this week, Kogi would have received all of its non-sensitive materials ready for the election.
Before.
And so far, all those ones that we've received, we've distributed them to all the 21 local governments of the state.
Okay. All right. Now, still on preparations. Now, according to the Vanguard, they reported recently that the former chairman, Jega, fears internet fraudsters. What has Inec put in place for those in doubt? Because anything that has to do with the internet, people feel there's always a way to go around it. So what's the assurance INEC have for Nigerians about that?
No, I cannot, because I'm not a technical person, but I go by what has often been said by my superiors, by my national commissioners and the chairman, and those who are responsible for the technical aspect of things. But just to reassure you, people have said that, because any technology is susceptible to being hacked and so on and so forth. But that we have been told, we're saying it for several times, that several attempts were made to hack into the system, INEC system, during the Ekiti, Osun, Anambra elections, but none succeeded. And up to this very moment, there has been no breach of the integrity of the system that INEC is using. But INEC is not just folding its arms and staying because they have not succeeded, because technology and such things are all also improving. So INEC is all the time improving on its technology and safeguards around the use of the technology that has been introduced in the system.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, of course, our conversation will continue.
Yeah. Don't sleep, wake up.
2023 holds a lot for Nigerians and the world at large. This February, the general elections will be happening live. Nigerians will be deciding new set of leaders. What are on their minds? What are the candidates up to in securing your votes? Will this election mark a new high for free and fair elections? All these and more are all up for discussion at the political arena. So, watch out.
Don't call me one time.
Glad to know you're still watching Political Arena. We have been discussing with the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, Dr. Hale Gabriel Longpet, and of course, my name is Mana Balagbogbo. And sir, quickly, I would like to ask for your reactions to the recent happenings in Osun State. Of course, the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, recently there was an interview on a popular news channel, and this is what the rep had to say. He said that not all data was transmitted, as at the time the ruling All Progressive Congress APC obtained the bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS report. And of course, prior to that, on Friday, they nullified the elections of the People's Democratic Party PDP's Ademola Adeleke amid overvoting and additional votes for Adegboyega Oyetola of the APC, putting him ahead of Adeleke. Now, a lot of people don't understand everything that has to do with that story. Can you break it down for the common man out there to understand?
Unfortunately, I am not competent to comment on a matter that is still in court, that is subject to appeal and so on and so forth.
As regards the BVAS itself.
The BVAS, you see, what the BVAS is doing that people do not understand is the BVAS is to protect the integrity of the votes of the electorate. The BVAS, the expectation is that when you bring your PVC to the polling unit, that is to be used to identify you that this card you bring in, you are the real owner of that card. So they use the BVAS to establish your identity. One, by a fingerprint, failing which they use the facial identification. If none of this proves or is able to identify you, and they try that 3 times, you will not vote. If all fails using the BVAS, you will not be allowed to vote. So the BVAS is to ensure that whoever is accredited is the rightful owner of the PVC that is brought to the polling unit. And so, secondly, after the voting, the close of voting, the votes are counted and registered on the form. The BVAS is used to scan or snap the results on the result sheet, EC8A, and electronically transmitted to the IREF, that is the Inec result viewing portal, where every member of the public can have access to.
Okay.
So if you then bring a result that is different from what had been transmitted to the portal, then it is the responsibility of the officer to establish the authenticity of the result you are bringing by comparing it from the raw data you bring from the hard copy and the one that was transmitted to them. So as to the issue in Osun, I'm not competent to comment on that, but I can only tell you how the BVAS works, how it's supposed to be used at the polling unit on election day.
All right. Okay, just to bring your attention to another controversial issue, of course, there is an ongoing investigation which INEC itself, has sought to get more information as regards alleged extortion of registered voters, not in your jurisdiction now in Enugu State, but as a principal officer here, one will wonder how could this have happened in the first place. Thankfully, no report of such case in your jurisdiction. What did you put in place to ensure that such a thing did not happen, whereby and a large staff of Inec, is extorting fellow citizens who are coming to collect their PVCs?
First and foremost, the PVCs belong to the electorate, to the voters.
That's right.
It doesn't belong to Inec. Inec is only supposed to facilitate the collection of this by those who have rightfully been registered to collect it, to then prepare to go and vote. I have seen the same video that's trending, and the official information that we've gotten that person, whoever was extorting money from potential voters or people who have come to collect their PVC. It's not the staff of INEC, neither was he or she an ad hoc staff engaged by INEC. In Kogi State, you see, we have partners, stakeholders who have worked with us over the years. That is, first and foremost, the NYSC members, who constitute a bulk of the ad hoc staff that have been engaged in election over the years. We engage them. People are trained and warned about the consequences of going outside the guidelines that is given to you. One of the things that has made elections to become transparent and viable over the years is that the people you engage, the kind of training you provide to people, is to ensure that they are responsible and accountable for their actions. Because even during the continuous voter registration, INEC prosecuted about 22 of its own staff who wanted to engage in sharp practices. So everybody who was engaged to provide, even some of the civil society organizations that we engage in Kogi State, were informed that you will be held responsible for whatever actions you take that goes outside the guidelines given to you in the distribution and collection of PVCs in the state. And I'm happy to say that we've had instances, even though people would say, I've been there 3 times, I've not seen my card. But we've had instances where mistakes have been made, where cards have been sent to the wrong wards or local government.
Okay.
Where I appeal to people when I went around, be patient. If you are patient enough to go and queue and register, please give us some time. If we find them in those local governments, we will bring them to the right place and give to you. And thank God, some of those things we've been able to do. Some people who never found their cards, because when we did the supplementary display of voter register, some people didn't see their names. And so their complaints and claims were sent to Abuja, and they were printing new ones for replacement. Some of those people who didn't see their cards, or those who transferred, they might not have finished the process and then they left. They wouldn't have seen their cards at the time. But as at last week, we got the last batch of the transfers from one location to the other when people did that concerns us in Kogi State. We got the last batch last week, and it came at the right time when this extension was given. Some people might not see their names, one, because maybe they registered twice. You know, when people registered and didn't go to collect cards in 2019 or 2011, they decided to go and register again. But when sanitizing the register, the system will automatically, when it detects multiple registration, they won't print your cards. You'll be disqualified completely. And that was what resulted in the 7.2 million Nigerians who engaged in multiple registration were eliminated from the register. And unfortunately, some of the people who might not see their cards because it might not be through their own fault, because they think that, oh, I did this since 2011 or 2019, it might not be available again. Let me go and do it.
A new one. So what's the remedy now for people who fall into that category for upcoming elections? Is that a final verdict?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Unfortunately, it is. And that is why we are making effort for those that we collected last week. We're making sure that we contact such individuals because we have their contacts. Contact such individuals by text or emails.
Okay.
That your card is now available. Come and collect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On a final note, is there any information you'd like to pass out to our viewers as regards the elections in the states?
Yeah, I think as for Kogi State, I would say we are ready and we're ensuring that people know what is expected of them.
Okay.
And we are also going to be engaging in a wide publicity in telling people the process of voting on the day. Because a lot of people, these are sensitization information, political parties, other stakeholders would have educated their supporters and people in the community. But Inec is still going to do that, to tell people this is the process. And when you bring a PVC, make sure that it is your own PVC that you are bringing to the polling unit. If you bring somebody else's PVC, you are not going to be able to vote.
All right, thank you very much. And that is where we draw the curtain on Political Arena today. We have been speaking with the Kogi State Resident Electoral Commission Commissioner of Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, Dr. Hale Gabriel Longpet. Once again, thank you, sir, for being with me.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Same here, sir. And until next time, my name is Mana Balagbogbo, and I'll see you on another edition of the Political Arena. Thank you for watching.